Hello, everybody. I'm Eddie Wooten, the host of the new Running Shorts. The field for the 125th Boston Marathon, set for October the 11th, was announced a few days ago. And as usual, a number of triad runners will go to New England for the world's greatest foot race. 4 of them are with me today, and their stories are among those that are unique for this year's race, which will follow Patriots Day in Massachusetts by 6 months, but will be a live race after the 2020 version was canceled. I want to start off by thanking them for joining us. We've got some key locations in the triad that are covered here tonight. So I'd like for you to meet, first of all, Val and Dave Duggan from High Point.
Hi.
Darrel Wells from Greensboro is joining us.
Hello, everybody.
And Jeremy Bush is a runner from Winston-Salem. Val and David, I want to start with you guys. This Boston Marathon will be extra special for both of you, and I would love to hear your story about why that's the case.
It's the first time we are running it at the same time together. For me, it's the second time running it, and he's the reason that I'm doing it at all, that I qualified.
For me, it will be my 6th official Boston. There's been 2 unofficial Bostons.
Okay.
Which I will not say. But it is, for us, it's going to be a first. So now I got to make the decision. Do I run my own race, or do I help my wife run a fast race?
Which is kind of the question we've had anytime we are in the same race, which isn't too often, but really he's the one training me. So he's coached me and helped me do more than I ever thought possible. So
David, who is coaching you?
Myself.
Sounds like a good coach.
My first 2, I ran for a charity in Ireland, Crumlin's Children's Hospital, where I raised money and I came out and ran. For me, I've ran the 100th anniversary, and to run the 125th is extra special. The 100, I was a freshman in college. I got into a lot of trouble for running it, but people have asked me, would I do it again? I goes, yes. Only 30,000 people can say they ran the 100 Boston Marathon, and I was one of them. The field this year is actually even less for the 125th, and I can say, yes, I was also one of them. Right now, it may be my last Boston. I would like to concentrate on the 3 other world majors that I haven't done, which are Tokyo, New York, and London. I've always said my last marathon will probably be New York to close out the world majors.
Darrel, runners from Greensboro have unfortunately been on the very short end more than once recently, narrowly missing a chance to run in Boston. You were on the right side of that for 2021. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was pretty much resigned to the fact that I was not going to get in this year. The numbers seem to be stacking up against getting in with my time, and reduced field size down to 20,000 or 15,000 or so actual qualifiers, and then so many people trying to get in because of the 125th anniversary. So when the time came out the other day of 7:47 for the cutoff beneath the qualifying time, I thought immediately, well, I missed it. And, I wasn't too upset. I thought, well, I've run it twice, and maybe I can do it again in the future, but I missed it. And then I thought, wait a minute, what was my qualifying time? Because I ran that race a year and a half ago in Chicago area, which was the BQ.2 last chance qualifying race. And I'd actually forgotten what my time was. So I went to my book and I looked it up, and there I was at 7 minutes, 48 seconds under my qualifying time.
Wow.
I made it by 1 second. And so I was hesitant to cheer because I've got some issues and I'm not really sure I'm even going to make it to the start line. But at the same time, as the days have gone by, I've gotten really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to going back. As David said, this could be his last for different reasons, but it might be my last because I don't know if I'll ever be able to run another qualifying time. So
All right,
this one could be special. It's 125th and it might be my last one.
That is just incredible. 1 second, 1 second over the course of 26.2 miles.
Right. And I sit there and I think back to the qualifying race and, you know, where could I have lost that 1 second?
Oh.
And it was interesting. I had a friend who, Eddie remembers Daily Miles, the running website we were both on many years ago, but I met a guy through there who was from North Carolina, and he met me in Chicago at this race. He was a pacer. And after he finished his pacing duties, he came back out on the course and found me and ran with me for probably the last 6 or 7 miles. And he's a much, much faster runner, and he could have run a 7 minute pace all day. And he asked me, so what pace do you need? And I told him, and we just locked in on that and ran the last probably 5 or 6 miles at that pace, and it was perfect. So really a lot of thanks go out to him.
1 second, that's loose shoestrings,
Right.
bumping into someone at a water stop,
Right.
turning to wave to someone in the crowd, all of those things, right?
Yeah, any of those could have derailed it.
All right, Jeremy Bush, you've made some plans for a marathon in October, but your acceptance into Boston has complicated those just a little bit. Tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. So last year was going to be a big year for me. I qualified for and was accepted into Boston and New York, but they, of course, both got called off. So when January rolled around, I saw that it appeared that Chicago was going to go off as normal. They were accepting registration. So I thought, I don't know what's going to happen with everything else, but Chicago's accepting registration. So I was qualified, obviously, for Chicago. So I registered, was accepted in Chicago, and wasn't sure what Boston was going to do. But at this point in time, they had not announced any kind of date or any kind of plan. Again, that was in January. So going gung-ho into Chicago, and just about a month or so later, Boston announces their race day was going to be October 11th. Well, the complication with that was Chicago is October 10th. So my first thought was, okay, I'm not sure what to do. I'm thinking about this crazy double, but the first thing I did was I emailed my coach and I said, please talk me out of this. This is a crazy idea. Talk me out of it. And he texts me, or he emailed me back and says, no, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Go for it. Let's do it. I'll come up with a plan. We'll go for it. Let's do it. Like, okay, so I'm registering for Boston. So I was accepted into both. And so now we're doing back-to-back marathons. Sunday morning in Chicago, flying to Boston Sunday afternoon, running Boston Monday morning. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a crazy adventure.
That is just, I've got chills on my arms listening to that. That's just an incredible story. Are there any logistics? The tired legs and energy supply one thing, but are there any logistics that are giving you any pause or anything that you're worried about initially?
My main concern is packet pickup. I've still got to figure that out, but I've heard some stories from years past where London was kind of stacked up with Boston, and the BAA allowed runners to pick up their packets the morning of. I have friends in Boston who live in Boston, and my running partner is going to get there about an hour before I do on the plane. So he may get there before packet pickup ends. So that right now, that's the biggest logistical obstacle we have to clear is picking up packets in Boston.
Well, I'm glad I've got you on here with Val. Maybe she can help on the flight end a little bit. Since she's a pilot.
Pick it up. Try to.
These are great stories. And while we will see you certainly before October, we do wish you and your all the other triad runners well in their training and certainly on race day. I wanted to close today with a two-part question for all of you guys. And here it is. What is it about running that you've missed the most since the pandemic began? But what is it about your running that has helped you get through to this point?
Ladies first.
Well, for me, I've been running through the whole pandemic, and it's been helpful because I haven't been working anywhere near as much. So it's nice to have that schedule, I guess, of something to do that's normal when things weren't normal. I would say I don't miss anything because even though races were canceled, which was kind of like, okay, what's my goal now? But I still enjoy running. I'm still going to run. And the only thing I would guess that I would miss was running with groups, and the social part of it went away a lot, but now it's coming back. So what about you?
For me, I hate to say it, I took 5 months completely off. Didn't run a step. Unfortunately, my work schedule is, I work retail, so we were going overtime just to meet needs of people. So wear and tear, I just kind of said, hey, no, I need a break from running. I can't do 40 plus hours a week and run as well. It's just killing me. I started at 5 a.m. in the morning, so I'm up by 4:15. I don't get to bed, or I don't go to bed my own choice by before 10 o'clock at night because I'm not going to sleep. So that part, it helped a little bit because getting out and just doing a run when I actually started back running again was kind of refreshing. Like having the 5 months off was good. Because I don't think I've ever taken that much time off since I started running. And we kind of joked earlier, we were talking about 2019, we ran 4 marathons in 5 months. We'll go, what were we thinking? Unfortunately, we didn't realize what was going to happen in 2020.
So I'm glad that we did that while we could,
So
because you never know.
to me, it's been a good just to take the break from running. There's been no races that you could run anyway. So I was kind of going, well, what's there to train for? So I just kind of go, no, it's time to let my body recover. And when things start up again, I'll get back into it. Now, I will admit, 5 months off and you start running again, you go, oh, hell, what was I thinking? But and that's the good part, is my body's had time just to recover.
Very good. Darrel, what do you say? What have you missed the most and what's gotten you through to this point?
Well, like Val said, the social aspect of it. And I'm, as you know, and you do a lot of solo running, but I've always been kind of a solo marathon trainer. But I always enjoyed the occasional run with the downtown dashers at the Y. And I miss those guys. Nathan Myers and I still see each other. We do bike rides together every week or two, but I haven't really run with anybody, in over a year. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that as we get back to missing things. Running, like Val said too, during this time, actually, I wasn't even able to run. I've been doing speed walking as a way just to kind of keep the schedule going, and just now getting back to running the last couple of weeks. But even doing that, just maintaining that same schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays that I've been doing for 10 years, kind of kept that sense of normalcy and gave me something to look forward to. Yes, I mean, it's always been a part of my life. And like Dave and probably Val, I get up at 4:30 almost every morning of the week to do something, either bike ride or run or do weights. And I'm not going to change that, even if I'm not racing or there's no one to go meet. Just trying to keep the same habits going.
Jeremy, your take on that?
Hey, I guess the one thing I missed about running the most was the camaraderie and kind of the celebratory being able to be together at races. That was really cool. I raced Myrtle Beach a week and a half ago, and that was the first real race I'd raced since actually Myrtle Beach half marathon last year, which was about a week before the world shut down. So it was such a great feeling, and you get those butterflies, you get that buzz in the air with those races, and I'm so glad races are coming back. That's the biggest thing I missed about running in the last year. But I would say the one thing that running gave me in the last year was a sense of normalcy. I'm an everyday runner. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning and run, sometimes a little earlier. So it during the pandemic, it just brought some normalcy that I was still doing the same routine. Everything's going the same way. And also, I have a core group of friends that I run with, and we run 3 or 4 days a week together. So that's kind of our social time. We spend an hour and a half, 3 or 4 mornings a week together. And that was time for us to, bemoan the situation of the world, bounce things off of each other, and it was just, that was one of the best things that has happened in the last year, was still being able to have that and have that time together with friends.
I want to thank Val and David Duggan from High Point, Darrel Wells from Greensboro, and Jeremy Bush from Winston-Salem for joining us for this interview today. We wish them well in their Boston Marathon training. Viewers, you will be able to find much more Running Shorts content at the address that's listed on the screen, and I'll have much more to say about that on another day. Thank you for your time. For Running Shorts, I'm Eddie Wooten.